You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. Happy September to everybody. I'm Doug Thompson. And as you noticed last week, we've had special guests on the show as cameos. This week, I want to introduce our special guest host, Brian Davis. He is with WFKN, the Franklin favorite. He's been there 13 years. 13 years.
It's a long time.
I've known you that long.
That's a long time.
That's
yes.
a long time. But you've also done your radio show for 10 years.
Yes. Well, 10 years. We start season 11 coming up on September 20th. So yes.
Does it feel like it's been 13 years at the Franklin favorite for you?
In certain aspects, yes. But it just flies by. It does fly by. Like the sports season, when it flies by, we go one from another, and then, here we are. So
one thing about you, Brian, is you love sports, and you definitely enjoy the process. And for instance, I went to a Franklin Simpson basketball game last year, and you get to do the announcing.
The PA, yes.
Right?
I do, yes.
And you kind of do a little inner WWF
UFC,
right?
UFC, yes.
Just kind of talk about how you got involved in sports, in journalism, in broadcasting, and kind of what directed you towards that career path.
Oh man, let's see. Where do we start? Did some work at Western. Go Tops, by the way. Go Tops. Got to throw that in there. Tops is the best.
Yes,
the best.
they are.
They are the University of Kentucky. They are. Anyways, just doing some journalism classes up there. Some buddies of mine, Brent Russell, Casey Armstrong. Did some radio stuff up there with them and things like that and so forth. Then got out of it for a little bit. Got back in. There was a radio show called The Sports Guys that was good. And so I was a frequent caller that would just call in and just pretty much just bash idiotic UK fans that said crazy stuff and things like that and so forth. Then it was like, well, you know what? You should do your own show for a little bit. It's like, okay, let's give it a try. And we did that for a little bit as well, too, as a special guest host. And the phone lines would light up because everybody would take a shot at me, but I'd shoot right back at them.
Right.
Things like that and so forth, too. And then WFKN came calling and said, how would you come here and work for us? And I was like, sure. I had nothing else going on. Why not? So, and here we are. And we're rolling since then.
So what is it? What do you like most about what you do? Because you do a lot of different things. You do the announcing for Franklin Simpson. You do the radio show. You participate in media. You love the Hilltoppers. What is it? Is there a preference for you? What you enjoy doing most?
I like it all, but radio is definitely the best. Get up in the mornings, getting to entertain people, listening to the show. Because I don't want a boring radio show in the mornings. You're up in the mornings. You're up getting your day started. You want to hear news and music, that's fine. But I want to bring on some guests, have some fun, give away some prizes, entertain, make people laugh. That's the point of what I wanted my morning show to be like. Just have a good time. And we bring on special guests from all different pop culture genres. And of course, we have local guests on too as well in the segments, promote some of their things they get going on too as well. So just want to have fun in the mornings. And that's pretty much what the Morning Show Madness is. We have fun in the mornings, and it's been great.
Well, we've got about 60 seconds left in this segment. Now, you had myself on, and I think Brandon Phillips was there.
Brandon Phillips was there.
And we did have a really good time. I think we were on right after the Farm Report, which I've never been on after a Farm Report. But, I live in Franklin, and it's a great community. And I know you got to have a lot of fun with it.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Get people all the time. It's like, how do you get these guests come on? I was like, I just reach out to them and see if they want to come on and have a good time and, relax. No pressure. To have a good time. Just talk it up, have a great time, and that's that. So there we go.
We got about 45 seconds, but just, are there any kind of late night host or radio people that you emulate or people that you like to watch and emulate?
David Letterman from the early 80s when he was in a war with GE on NBC. That was probably his best stuff, I would say. That, and then probably say Howard Stern, because the interview process, he dives deep into his guests, and I like to dive deep with my guests as well too, and get in their mind a little bit, and just break down some things and talk and learn more about them.
Yeah, he's a great interviewer. All right, stay tuned. More of Brian Davis after our interview with the Mid-South Conference Commissioner, Eric Ward. Stay tuned. More of the Sporting Times right here on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. Well, my next guest joined this organization back in 2013, and it needed a complete makeover. And since then, he has made this the most successful conference in the NAIA nationally. My next guest, Eric Ward, the commissioner of the Mid-South Conference. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, Doug, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And sometimes when you say NAIA quickly, that's not easy to get out.
No, it's not, and it can be even a bigger tongue twister if you try to say all four words together.
That's right.
So just practice, Doug. Just practice.
I will keep practicing. But look at you. It's amazing. I've known you now for several years. 2013, when you told me that, time flies. I don't know how quickly time has flown for you, because I know the last couple of years has been a grind. But the Mid-South Conference is very successful. Your new home now has been in Bowling Green for the conference, and it seems like things are going well.
Yeah, despite COVID, things continue to get better and better all the time. Our spring was extremely busy. We made a decision as a conference to push all of our competition to the spring, so we were playing football at the same time we were playing baseball. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy again, but it was a great spring considering what we were dealing with. We were able to host all of our championships last year except for indoor track and field, which proved particularly problematic, just based on facility availability and where those facilities were located. But we were able to host all of our other championships, and we ended up doing well competitively. We won 5 national championships in the conference last year. Shawnee State won the men's basketball national championship. Lindsey Wilson won the football national championship. Kaiser University won the women's lacrosse. Trying to think of who else. We had several runners-up, national runners-up. Thomas More came in national runner-up in women's basketball. Martin Methodist, which is now UT Southern, came in as national runner-up in women's bowling. So we had a really good spring.
Yeah, and as we start off this season, you just concluded a really successful 20-team volleyball tournament over at Ephraim White, which, knock on wood, you got through that. All 20 teams showed up.
Yep. This is a 3rd or 4th year we've hosted that tournament. It's called the Vet City Classic. I think we started out with maybe 12 teams 4 years ago, and it's grown over the past few years. This year we had to cap it off at 20 teams.
Wow.
It's kind of a preseason tournament. All the teams got 4 matches, and we were very fortunate that all 20 teams were able to show up and compete, and we didn't have any COVID-related issues that prevented anyone from participating in the tournament. So, this is our return to, we're trying to return to some sense of normalcy this year, and so that was a great start for us.
We got about a minute and a half left in this segment, and we'll take a short break and then come back. But I know that you basically uprooted not only the conference, but your own self, and Laura moved to Bowling Green. And obviously, that has been a really good move. But now that you're here, what has it been like, and the community outreach and the support that you've had?
Absolutely fantastic. The Bowling Green, Warren County community has embraced us, and we have great relationships with the hotels and the Parks and Recreation departments and the city and the county government, and obviously the Convention and Visitors Bureau that was intimately involved in getting us here in the first place. And so those relationships continue to get better and better. And, we're just becoming more and more part of the fabric of Bowling Green and Warren County. And this year, I think we counted up, I think we have 26 or 28 events on the calendar, starting with the Bet City Classic that we hosted a couple weeks ago and finishing up sometime in early May. So it's going to be a busy year. We're at this point optimistic that we're going to be able to get all those events in and that COVID's not going to stop us. It may slow us down occasionally, but it's not going to stop us. And we're just looking forward to another great year and
All right, we're going to
have a full schedule of events.
hang on one second, Eric. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with the commissioner of the Mid-South Conference right here on WNKY NBC. And we'll be right back. More of the Sporting Times. Welcome back again. My guest this week, Eric Ward, the commissioner of the Mid-South Conference. Eric, I think you said 27, 28 events in Bowling Green this year. And I got to ask you, for our viewing audience, I know what you do. And I would say it's kind of equivalent to an air traffic controller, basically directing. But it is a lot of Zoom meetings, but kind of talk to us a little bit about being a commissioner of a very successful conference.
Well, it's with us, we have a small staff, and so we pretty much have to do everything and specialize in everything. It's member services, it's helping our members address challenges that they may be having specifically. It's part traffic cop, it's part judge and jury. It's, we do all the scheduling for the conference. We make sure that every contest has officials and those officials get paid in a timely manner. There's a lot of public relations. We're constantly in a recruiting mode, looking for schools that might be a good fit that we can reach out to and invite to become part of the conference. So it's a pretty broad range of tasks and responsibilities. Yeah. No 2 days are exactly alike, and I probably spend 60% of my time putting out fires that I don't start. But it's always interesting and it's challenging and it's a people-oriented job, and it's except for COVID, it's pretty enjoyable.
One of the things that I admire and I notice that you do a lot is you engage your athletic directors and all the different colleges and universities that you have. You engage them, and then you also have to work with the presidents of each of these universities, but kind of talk about your philosophy on basically having them be involved and listening to their input and having them kind of direct things and you help them and get them in the right direction.
Well, it's their conference. It's not my conference. It's their conference. And so, it needs to be what they want it to be, and things need to be done in a manner in which they want them to be done. The challenge as commissioner is getting them to take off their institutional hats and put on their conference hats and make decisions that are in the best interest of the conference and not just specifically their institution. And I think over the years, my experience both as an athletic director, which I spent 10 years as an AD at one of our member schools, and now 8 years as commissioner, we have a group of athletic directors and presidents who are really good at taking off their institutional hat and putting on their conference hat and trying to make really good conference decisions that sometimes aren't always in the best interest of their institution.
Yeah. Now, tell us what the next couple of events will be that are coming up here in Bowling Green, and also For people that want to get involved in the Mid-South Conference from a volunteer standpoint, how they can contact you.
Sure. Well, the early part of the fall, obviously football season starts this weekend, so we've got a full slate of football games kicking off Labor Day weekend. We've got some games Thursday night, and then the rest of the teams will be in action on Saturday. So that's a big part of the fall is our football schedule. We have 22 teams playing football, so
Wow.
that's a big part of the fall. But we also have a preseason cross country race coming up in September, and then right after that, we'll start hosting several junior varsity JV conference tournament events in men's and women's basketball, softball, volleyball, baseball, to give our JV athletes some kind of a conference experience as well. And so the early part of the fall is that, and made up of those kinds of events. And then as we get later into the fall, into November, then we'll have our traditional fall sport championships, cross country, soccer, and women's volleyball.
15 seconds left. How do people get a hold of you if they want to volunteer?
Best way to do it is to go to the Mid-South Conference website. They can find out all the information about the conference, membership, sports, all that stuff. It's just mid-southconference.org, and our contact information is on the website.
Eric, thank you very much. Always good to see you, and we look forward to having you back throughout the year to update us on the Mid-South Conference. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, well, Brian and I will wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Thank you, Eric Ward, for being my guest tonight. And again, Brian Davis is our special cameo co-host this week. Brian is with WFKN out of Franklin, Franklin favorite. Real quick, Brian, I do have to mention for our viewing audience, if you have a senior athlete this year, go ahead and submit a nomination for them to become a Toyota of Bowling Green Scholar Athlete. It's very easy. Go to stfanclub.com/Toyota and get their nomination in. We've got the form. All the information's there. They could be a recipient of a one-time $500 scholarship. Now, real quick,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It is football. It is football time. It is soccer time. It is golf time. It is volleyball time. But before we get into football, one of the hottest stories right now is second-year head coach Tim Sharp at Bowling Green High School has the Bowling Green Lady Purples 7-1. They've only given up 5 games out of all their matches. They've won 24 games, but they swept Greenwood for the first time, I think, in school history. I went back as far as I could go. They did get a game off of them in 2016, but very impressive start for the Lady Purples.
If you notice around in the region, there are more Bravo, Skiwas, club volleyball coaches are now taking over and building programs like that. It's happening everywhere. Franklin Simpson definitely don't want Jared Long. Caleb and at Sheffield at Logan County, and his wife Lindsay at South Warren, the same way too as well. I mean, club guys are taking over, Skiwa guys are taking over, and it's great to see that, and they're building programs. And then, wow, Bowling Green. I mean, Greenwood's been the monster for years in volleyball.
They have.
I mean,
with South Warren too.
Alan Whittinghill's been doing great. Yeah, South Warren has been too. I mean, but wow, now Bowling Green is now, and Coach Tim is now getting up in there too. So it's great to see that, you know, fourth region programs in volleyball are building and growing to something really, really good.
And to your point, it's the club programs the past decade that have really brought volleyball up to another level. And I remember you saw it, 10, 15 years ago, the fan participation wasn't that great. Today, minus COVID, you go to a volleyball district matchup and it's a great turnout.
It's packed. It's packed. It's intense. I mean, it is really fun to see. Now, you know, there are some fans that get out of control. They are. And that's in any sport. That's in any sport. They get out of control.
Yeah.
But wow, it is really cool to see volleyball is growing and still growing. I mean, it's just amazing.
Let's talk a little football.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So We are in week 3, just finished up yesterday. Of course, South Warren and Warren Central had byes yesterday, and we tape our show previous to the game, so we really can't talk about who won last night.
Right.
But we can talk about a couple of teams that are pretty hot early on. One of them is Greenwood, 2-0, and one player in particular I want to talk about is Marquise Tressel.
Oh, yeah.
A young man, he's a senior running back who is fantastic. Telltale Long is a sophomore for Greenwood. We're going to be talking about him for the next several years. Very talented. And then the quarterback that stepped in this year for John Morrison, James Sockley, is really coming to his own. But Greenwood's doing well. And one of the teams in your district, Logan County, is 2-0 and look very strong.
Yeah, Coach Todd Adler's doing a great job since he's taken over the program. The thing about Logan County is that this season, I mean, yes, they took on a Warren East team, and Warren East was short-manned, it was undermanned. So I mean, yeah, so you know the score was expected like it was. They took on a Christian County team, not Christian County of old, but still to handle their business.
Yeah.
I mean, this week they got Franklin Simpson, the border war, and of course Simpson County and Logan County. It's always
100.
It's hot,
right?
It's hot down there, and it's going to be at Logan County on Friday night. So that's going to be an atmosphere. It's going to be crazy. So I'm kind of intrigued to see, you know, Logan County strengthens their defense. Todd Adler is a great defensive coach. We're going to see what happens with the Wildcats with their wing T attack against Logan County's defense. It should be very interesting to see it.
30 seconds left. Let's hit some games this coming up week that are very important. Glasgow at Allen County, Scottsville. The Bowling Green Purples host Hopkinsville in their brand new stadium.
Ooh.
And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be some great football coming up.
That's going to be an atmosphere. Hopkinsville is always very, very good in football. Bowling Green with their first home game in that new stadium. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. And then Glasgow ACS, I mean, Jeff Garman, Brad Hood. I mean, that's all you got to say right there for those two.
It's going to be fantastic. Thank you very much for being our special guest today. Enjoyed you completely. Thank you very much. That's going to do it for us. Join us every Saturday right here on WNKY NBC 40. For Doug Thompson and Brian Davis, have a fantastic week. Good night.